everyone, Candace Newman with CN Realty coming on here to talk to you about new construction. There is so much to talk to you about with new construction, and so I'm just really going to try and take this first video to keep it simple, talk about the pros and cons, and then as we start to get into a little bit more information, like what the heck is Mello Roos and all that good stuff, we'll be addressing that in later videos. So with regards to new construction, if you're living out here in California, heck, if you're living in the Southwest in general, you're probably seeing new homes going up all over the place. And not only new homes, you're probably seeing new schools, new grocery stores, new shopping centers. It's everywhere right now. And this is all because of essentially this housing crisis that we're trying to address. We see that there are more people that need homes than ever before. A lot of people are trying to purchase, and we just don't have good places to put them. Especially here in California, it is so expensive to be able to afford a home. And that is why we see more and more places going further and further east of LA starting to build. Heck, I noticed just this past weekend going up into the high desert that it is building left and right up there. Everywhere I look, in Apple Valley and Hesperia and Victorville, they all have new builds that are going up. So what does this mean? Is it good? Is it bad? How do you navigate this? I have a lot of new buyers that come onto the market and they ask me like, what's the difference between a new and a used home? And it cracks me up when I hear those terms. But I've got to say, it's really all about preference. For me personally, I love an older home. I love a home that has character, that has a story, that I get to be a part of that legacy. And so I have a tendency to want to stick with those older homes. I also love old homes because I like living in established neighborhoods. I like where the trees are big. I like having larger lots. But in these newer homes, some people want to be that first generation that comes in and creates that legacy. Or maybe you don't want to have quite so large of a yard because your life is too busy and you just don't want to deal with one more chore. All makes perfect sense. So let's get into it. A new build, new construction is going to be any townhome, any condo, any single family residence that is being newly constructed. And there are a variety of builders that are out there. Some of the biggest builders that you've probably heard of include Lennar, K. Havonian, KB Homes, Pulte. There are so many, especially out here in California. Those are some of the heavier hitters. We do also have some semi-custom builders that come out. You have some quieter builders, some independents that come and will be happy to build homes for you as well. But some of our bigger ones, the ones that we're most familiar with, it does in fact include these guys that I'm naming. Now, the way that it works is they come in, they buy a plot of land, and they will squeeze as many homes or properties as they possibly can into it. And the newest addition to these neighborhoods, kind of what they're doing is they are making larger homes, they're making multi-generational homes, but they're putting them onto smaller lots. So you might see like a 3,000 square foot home on about a 5,000 square foot lot. And that's because these builders recognize that more home is requested or required as opposed to lot size for a lot of these families that are looking at new construction. Additionally, land is what's the most expensive. And so the more that they can squeeze onto a piece of land, the better. Now, with that being said, what they've done is to create other outdoor spaces is they might have an association affiliated with that neighborhood. And so you might have your own park or your own pool or green belts, outdoor areas, which allows you to still have kind of an outdoor space to be able to roam. It's just not necessarily in a big, large backyard. This can be a huge advantage to you if you don't want to take care of a yard. If you're not looking to do yard work and you're not looking for the expense of having a gardener, this is something for you to definitely consider. So why do people want to have a new build? What is the advantage? Well, the advantage to new builds is a long list, to be honest with you. If you get a new build, you're going to get the greatest, latest technology that comes with them. So when it comes to insulation, the stuff that we never think about and we never see, all that stuff between the walls, between the roof, that's all going to be at the highest in the building codes. It's going to be the thickest, which means that your house is going to be the coolest in the summer and the warmest in the winter. The other thing is that since 2017, there was a new law that was passed that says that any new construction home that is put up does have to have solar panels to help with this energy influx that we're all experiencing. If it's leased or if it's owned, these new builds do need to have solar panels on them. And so this is a really great thing for you to be looking into, because if you're wanting to try to reduce your carbon footprint, or if you're trying to reduce your electric bills, you know that you're going to also be getting ideally some great rates for your solar panels, especially because they're being purchased at bulk with these builders. Another thing is that your home comes with a warranty. Literally anything that goes wrong with your home in the first year, you can call the home builder and they'll come out and they'll take care of it. From recognizing that there might be a little tile that's cracked or out of place to an outlet that's not working, they will take care of it for you. This is all really nice because it takes the worry and the stress out of what the heck you have to do being a new homeowner. So why wouldn't you want to be a new build homeowner? What is the disadvantage to it? Well, it's not so much that there's a disadvantage to it as it is that a preference. For example, for me, I really like to live in areas that are a little bit less cookie cutter. I want my home to look very different in comparison to the homes that are around it, but that comes at a cost. Typically, that means that I'm living in areas that don't have HOAs, and therefore they don't have rules and regulations that need to be followed. And so some of my neighbors might get a creative with their paint color choices or their gardening choices. Some of them have secret gardens and some of them don't really care about their lawn at all. In an HOA community or these new build communities, you really don't have that. Everybody has pride of home ownership, and you also have rules and regulations to make sure that everybody's home still looks quite nice. Additionally, I also wanted to be in an area where I did have a large outdoor space, and COVID really cemented that for me. I wanted to make sure that I lived somewhere, especially with a little boy and all his little friends, that they could come and they could run around and they could just be wild and not have to feel cooped up in the house. And so for me, being able to be somewhere where I had more space was really important to me. Now, this is all based on preference and what it is that you want, and they both have their pros and cons, and they have to be taken into consideration. The nice thing with a already built home is that whatever the sales price is or the listing price is, that's typically what it's going to go for, and there are really no upgrade fees to it. With a new build, that is different. They typically start at what we call a base price. Let's say $500,000 is the base price, and that's what you get for your home. And the builder covers those basic materials. You get the basic appliances, you get the basic doors, you get the basic flooring. And now, should you choose to make any upgrades, if you fell in love with something that you saw in the model, you need to be careful and read what they posted in the model to let you know if that was an upgrade or not. Because as you start to make those upgraded choices, those upgrades can then change the price of your home. And this is a big thing because you want to make sure that if your budget is $500,000, that you stay well within that budget. You may not want to be looking at a $500,000 home. You might want to be looking at slightly lower so that you do have room for upgrades. Upgrades from what's inside your home to the land fees, to including your HOA fees, and even what we call a Mello Roos fee. And a Mello Roos fee does apply to all new homes. I should say almost, because there are some exceptions to the rule. New homes that are built here in California, and that is to allow for new parks and new schools and more police and fire to accommodate the area. So this is all something that goes into consideration. It's supposed to help out the area and to help out the major population that's coming in. And again, this is something, it's an additional tax that you're paying for. So you really want to make sure that you're budgeting all of this. Now, if you're looking at new build versus already built, if you're trying to figure out the pros and the cons, if you really want to talk about this a little bit more, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Give me a call. I'd be happy to walk you through a little bit of both of them to tell you, hey, this is what you get in an old one, this is what you get in a new one, or as some of my clients call it, new and used. And you can really see the difference between them. I'm always happy to answer questions for you. I love talking real estate. And don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube, check me out on Facebook, and as always, feel free to DM me. Have a great one. Bye.